Hello, my name's Yvonne Porthouse. I'm a healthcare support worker on Ward 23 and I have experienced abuse on the ward from a patient.
My name is Beth, I'm a Deputy Sister in A&E and I've experienced abuse.
My name is Andrea. I'm a Senior Patient Experience Officer at Sherwood and I recently experienced verbal abuse from a patient's relative.
I feel the worst part for me was the embarrassment that a man in his 90s could take somebody to the floor. It took 5 members of staff to actually release the patient from me. It was just very scary.
The worst part for me was what turned out to be a complaint against the hospital very quickly turned into an attack on me, a personal attack.
As I began triaging, the relative of the patient started shouting and screaming at me. They backed me into a wall and screamed in my face. I felt threatened, terrified, distraught. My student was scared. She ran out of the room crying. When I was in that situation at work, I was unsure of how I was supposed to deal with it. Sometimes when you're in this uniform, you are worried about what is and isn't appropriate to say.
It wasn't until my husband picked me up from work that day to take me home that he realised automatically that something was wrong with me. He had to stop the car on the way home where I was physically sick.
He actually made me feel really uncomfortable and frightened, which is not something I'd experienced previously in any of my other roles, and I think that's what I found most distressing. I was encouraged to complete a datix, to report the incident and how it had made me feel.
So I reported the event. I put it in a Datex incident form. I reported it to my seniors on shift. I did not receive any follow-up support from management or anyone else in the department.
The only Datex that went in was so that a DOLS was going to be put in so we could look after the patient. After I did put the Datex in, a few days later there was a reply to say that the incident had been now closed, and the learning from that was that we should have called security sooner and that maybe we should have looked after the patient in twos, and that was the learning from it. My message would be, please report it. You might not be like myself and have a really supporting family and husband at home. I've just recently met an international nurse who also met physical abuse. She's got nobody in this country, and you must report it because there is help and support out there.
What we could better do to support colleagues is at least an acknowledgement of the Datex and incident that they've reported. Make sure that they're followed up by management and let them know that they will be supported and it will be acted on. I believe it may be helpful to have a system whereby we can give our nurses more autonomy in deciding whether or not we should treat patients that present us with abuse by using a tick box exercise that might identify whether or not these patients have capacity or not, and in what form, and whether or not that would allow us to remove them from the facility.
I do feel that after I'd put my concerns onto Datix, that was actually it for me. I didn't receive any feedback after that to reassure me that what I'd done was correct and that I'd followed the trust processes and how that was viewed by the trust. Maybe some reassurance would be nice, or some feedback.
Hello, my name's Georgina and I am the Admiral Nurse for Sherwood Forest Hospitals. We know it's not easy to look after someone with dementia, especially when they become violent or aggressive, and it's completely normal to be overwhelmed, scared or unsure. Unfortunately, some people assume that violence and aggression is a symptom of dementia itself, and while that can be true, there's often another cause for this behaviour. It's important to see beyond the behaviour and the reasons what might be causing it. Reasons for violence and aggressive behaviour could be the fact that they are scared, their mental and physical health could be poor, they're feeling overwhelmed, or they genuinely just miss their family. Knowing the person, getting to really know that person, their routines, what's important to them, how we can help make them feel better and more comfortable in this scary environment can also really help. Colleagues and victims of abuse often believe that because a person lacks capacity that there's no point in reporting the abuse that's happened to them. We often turn a blind eye to the kicks, the abusive comments, the spits and the punches. But these incidents should always be reported so that as a trust we can support you, and as a dementia team we can provide you the right training and specialist advice should these events happen again in the future. So do please report. regardless of mental capacity.
Hello, I'm Rob Simcox, Director of People here at Sherwood. I firstly wanted to start off with a thank you. Thank you for the people, colleagues, that have taken the opportunity to share their experiences. I recognise how difficult this must have been. It is our hope that by talking so openly about experiences gives us a platform for us to improve. I acknowledge there is always more work to be done, but our approach through the Violence and Aggression Action Plan shows our commitment to supporting our people. Violence or aggression to our people is clearly not acceptable. Our people are here to help our patients get better. We are committed to supporting you to manage any incidents you may face and where possible, prevent them happening.